Hello, social studies scholars. Mrs. Olson here. This video lesson is designed to help you plan. So let's begin with our learning target, which reads that you will be able to organize information for writing purposes. And you are going to see that we're going to organize in two different ways. One is physical gathering of papers, and the other is actually organizing the information and the historic details into a graphic organizer. Okay, so I said that the video lesson is designed to help you plan. You might be asking, plan for what? Well, we are gearing up to write a letter to an elected official. But before we write this letter and make a decision on which elected official we're going to write to, we have to organize what we learned first. So at this point, it might be a good idea to pause the video and gather your notes for these four categories. So let me give your brains a little visual refresher on the categories that we've studied. So the first one is going to be the preamble to the Constitution. So we're not going to go over the lessons again, but I wanted to give your brains that refresher on what it is that we studied in the preamble. Okay, the next one is branches of government. And so it talked about the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judicial branch. The third big lesson, was on the Bill of Rights. And we saw these lessons divided into several segments to cover all 10 Bill of Rights. And then most recently, we studied the public issues. Okay? And there are some of the public issues that we have been talking about. All right, so once again, this is a good spot to pause and gather your notes on these four big topics. Okay, so you've paused, and let's pretend that you have now pressed play again. We are going to go to the graphic organizer. At the top, I wrote graphic organizer. This is your planning sheet. So a planning sheet or a graphic organizer can come in many different forms. For the purposes of this assignment, I have created only 4 boxes to organize our information. So on the left side in this column, you are going to see the subjects that we are gathering information about. And in the right side column, that is where you are going to be writing down the information that you have filtered out from these categories. And actually, I am going to add a category. There we go. See, I even have to reorganize sometimes. Okay, so civics information. Civics is another term for government, which we have been studying. All of these categories deal with different aspects of our government. So the way that I want you to think about these 3 details is I want you to choose details that mean something to you. They've stuck out in your head for some reason. They are sticking in your memory because you find them interesting, or maybe you have questions about them, or maybe you've heard your parent persons talking about them, and so the information is important, say, to your family. Okay, so here are my examples if I were filling in this graphic organizer. And what I tried to do was to cover several of these topics. So Not all of my information is going to be about the Bill of Rights. I actually chose 3 out of these 4 categories as far as information that really sticks out in my head. So this is the way that I'm going to organize it. The first piece of information is coming from the preamble. And what I noticed about the preamble is I said there was a lot of we. So I want to go back to, one moment, please. Want to go back to this assignment where we wrote the different pieces of the preamble into our own words, okay? So once again, I said that in the preamble, there was a lot of talk about we. And what I mean by that is, in this first statement, it says we the people, right? So it's talking about us, the citizens of the United States. Here in the second part, it talks about union. That's a coming together of people. That's a coming together of we. Fast forward a little bit. Provide for the common defense. So common meaning common amongst all of us who live in the United States. Promote the general welfare. General is including all of us. That's another we. And this uses the word our to ourselves and our posterity. It's talking about everyone. And even in the last line, for the united, that's all of us, States of America. So that is what I meant by in the preamble. This is what stuck out to me. There was a lot of talk about we. Okay, my second piece of information that I want to write down is it comes from the branches of government. And what I noticed here, what sticks out into my head, is that the branches of government is all about the balance of power, okay? And I know that there is the reason why our branches of government are organized this way to have a balance of power is because our forefathers who wrote the Constitution, they didn't want another king, because they had come from England where the king had so much power, and we wanted to make sure that our future government, our future leaders didn't have the power like the king, because regular people didn't get a say. Okay, and the last part comes from the Bill of Rights. And what I noticed in here is that there are many sections in the First Amendment. And in all of these sections, there are 5. And all of these are about freedom. So I'm going to emphasize in the Bill of Rights, it was all about freedom. In branches of power, this was all about the balance of power, or rather, that is what sticks out in my head. And in the preamble, what really sticks in my memory is this notion, this very important idea of we, a group of people, the citizens of the United States. Okay? So you take your notes, you decide what sticks out in your head the most, what is most interesting to you, and then you write those 3 ideas here. So the bottom part is take the information from the public issues lesson, and here I wrote which topic is most interesting to you and why. So I'm going to start with a complete sentence which says the public issue most interesting to me is topic of immigration, okay? I see, whoop, sorry. I see immigration everywhere. It's on the news, on the radio when my mom is driving to work or to the store. It's what we listen to. I see information about it on the internet. And people seem to get really angry about the subject. So I want to know more. Okay, that hopefully gives you an idea of what to put in this section and how to write the why. All right, everyone, I hope that gives you a good starting point for A, organizing your information, and B, what to write in the boxes of your graphic organizer. Please let me know if you have questions. Bye, everyone.